I was blown away, honestly. I really was. And you know what? Not to blow off Chandrello. I mean, we talked for 75 minutes, but Marty's calling in, so I mean, he is calling from Japan. So let's get him on the phone, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So let's welcome the one, the only, Mr. Heavy Metal himself from the land of the rising sun, Mr. Marty Friedman. Marty, how the hell you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Dude, like, you know, I never would have known you've been living in Japan for the last 10 years.
That's right.
That's pretty wild, man. Like, what made you, like, go over to Japan?
Well, there was a point in time where I found myself listening to Japanese music 100% of the time, and everything else 0% of the time, and it was just kind of a no-brainer that I should come here and do what I wanted to do.
Really? Like what kind of Japanese music?
It's current Japanese mainstream music, which
really?
Mainstream sounds like a strange word in American music business, but in Japanese it can mean everything from the most poppiest thing to the deepest, darkest, heaviest music you could possibly imagine. It all fits in the mainstream.
Wow. Now, I mean, you can speak fluent Japanese and all. I saw before you moved over there. Were you able to speak it at all, or did you learn as you moved, as you lived there?
Well, before I moved here, I was already fluent, so that really helped a lot in facilitating the whole thing. I wouldn't recommend living here without being relatively fluent, but I was fluent before I moved here.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, I was just blown away by that. It's funny too. Like I was reading stuff like an old band from Japan, EZO. Are they still around? Like, are they still playing in Japan?
That's a long time ago, man. I seriously don't. I don't think so. No. That's a cool band, though. I remember those guys.
Yeah, you know, I just heard them today on Sirius, so that made me think of it. But now, how is like? I'm sure you're well aware, like, and a lot of the musical guys we talk to, I always talk to them about like, and it's mainly I'll bring up is Europe. How like the fan support in Europe is it's so much better than it seems like here in the States. Now, how about in Japan? Is it a lot better there as well?
Well, obviously, I've been cultivating Japan for the last 10 years, so Japan is where I do the majority of my activities. Fan support is great everywhere in the entire world. It's just a matter of where I decide to go and where I decide to cultivate or where, to get out of Japan. It takes a lot of effort because I have a lot of activities that I'm doing here all the time. So I just did a tour of Europe for a month. And that means I have to put all kind of my regular duties off to the side here. I do a lot of regular TV, regular radio stuff. I do all my own solo music over here. I play with other artists. So getting away for more than a week or two at a time is quite a task. But, I haven't toured in America for a long time. Right. And on this new record, Inferno, this is a chance to really do it. And I think the time is right. So at the end of this year, in the wintertime, I'm going to be touring America.
Nice. Now, and you just brought up, like, you do TV and everything like that. How did you cross over into doing all that other stuff? I mean, it's amazing everything you're involved in, and I don't know how you find the time to do it all.
I just made it happen. I came over here with the one goal of playing within the domestic Japanese music scene, which is completely different from the international scene, which I was a part of for many years, obviously. Right. I wanted to play in the domestic scene. And I kind of lucked out when I got here. I joined the band of one of my favorite singers named Aiko Ananase within about 3 or 4 months after moving here. And that kind of got me started. And the more I kind of got recognized for that, I started getting offers to do TV and radio and all kinds of magazine things. And a lot of media started happening right away. And that kind of like triggered off a whole new career, career direction, and I got to do everything that I ever wanted to do tenfold. So it was all good, but the downside is there's just no time to get out of here and play elsewhere. So I really had to carve out a serious amount of time to, first of all, make a record for the whole world, and then second of all, go out and play it for people.
Right. Now, did you have aspirations to do television and stuff like that beside music as well?
Absolutely not. And I almost turned it down when they offered it to me, because at the time I was I wanted to be involved in Japanese domestic mainstream music, and the show it's kind of the first show I did was kind of basically a parody comedy variety show, kind of taking the piss at heavy metal and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to be associated with heavy metal anymore. As an artist, of course I love it, and it's a big part of my history. But the reason I came to Japan was to do domestic stuff, so it didn't interest me at all. But they said, just do the show just for fun. It's a variety show, and so I gave it a try, and it was so much fun and such a big challenge, and it went so well. The very first taping, I got offers to do tons of other stuff, and it just kind of surprised me. I'm really glad I did it. It got me, into the homes of a lot of people who would normally never knew who I was. So it was a good thing.
Now, I'm not sure. I saw like all different things with Fanta. Was that it? Maybe. Yeah,
Fanta. I did. The soft drink. It's a Coca-Cola thing over here in Japan. We did 2 years of commercials and public appearances and even concerts, and it was a big campaign for Fanta that went on for a long time. And when you do those type of things, you get a different kind of exposure than you normally do when you're just recording and touring. So I'm very thankful for the experiences.
That's awesome. Now, the big news this past week just came out here over in the States with you was, I guess, your Decibel magazine interview came out where you called yourself a hypocrite.
I haven't read that, but that sounds like something I would definitely say. I mean, I might be talking to you right now. I'll talk to you right now, and then I'll be talking to somebody else tomorrow. And, I think every artist has the right to contradict themselves, or else, you can't. It's not like a Snickers bar that's going to be the same taste 20 years from now. We don't have to have that responsibility. So, that definitely sounds like something I would say, but maybe you read something more interesting into it than it really was.
Well, it was about your new album, Inferno, where I guess earlier at some point you had said instrumental music is a dead-end street. And then you released Inferno, which is almost all instrumental, and you basically said that, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, actually, Inferno has 4 vocal songs on it, but there's a lot of instrumental stuff on there. And I still agree, and I think what I originally said about being a dead-end street is, like, if that's what you're aiming for, I think I was probably aiming that comment at young, aspiring musicians. If that's what you're aiming for, you're automatically making your goals so narrow. I mean, look at the Billboard charts in the top 200 or whatever. Maybe there's one thing on there that's instrumental, so it's so limiting. And I think that, if that's what you're born to do and that's what you love to do, well, more power to you. But I think instrumental music, if that's what you're shooting for, you're already like limiting an already impossible goal, which is the music business. It's like winning the lottery. So why make your chances even slimmer? But if that's what you love to do, man, more power to you. I don't listen to instrumental music very much. I make it because I make it in a certain way that I really like it, but it's not necessarily going to compete with Lady Gaga anytime soon.
Right.
Not that I care to, but as a comment to young musicians, I totally stand by that.
Now, which comes, like, when you're writing instrumental music, do you is it easier for you to write instrumental music or music that's going to have actual lyrics and singing to it?
It's totally case by case. It's definitely more challenging to do the instrumental thing because as a disliker of instrumental music, I need to have something that's going to keep exactly the same amount of attention as a vocal and a lyric. So you don't have the lyrics, which have meaning to grab onto. You don't have that. You don't have the vocalist personality. So you're basically short on weapons. So I have to make whatever it is I'm doing on guitar stand out so much like there's a lead vocalist in there. The guitar has to take on the presence of a lead vocalist and a great lead vocalist. So that's incredibly challenging, but I love that challenge. So I'm up for that. It's much easier to deal with a band situation where you're one quarter of a band and the singer makes the lyrics and blah, blah, blah.
Right. Now, this kind of shocked me, too, about you was your inspiration to start playing guitar was from Kiss.
Sure. Well, why did that shock you?
Because of your style of playing. It's nothing like Ace Frehley would dream of playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you could totally say that, but it's totally true. But when I first started, you probably couldn't tell me and Ace apart because I just played everything on Kiss Alive day and night. And my first band was called Deuce, and our original songs sound like, punked up versions of Kiss songs. So you start off with your influence, and then if you keep playing music, then you grow into something hopefully more interesting.
Well, how did you then take that and then evolve into that shredding guitarist that you became?
You just keep growing, and you keep having experiences playing with more musicians, more bands, and doing things in the music business, and you eventually become an artist rather than just a musician or a player. And you have the responsibility of representing yourself every time you release something. I mean, there's no responsibility when you're just a musician in a band. All you have to do is play the notes and look cool or whatever. But once you become an artist, then you have the responsibility of representing every note that you play, every song, every melody. That's got your name on it. That's like your stamp. So it's kind of a bigger responsibility. And once you get that, your style starts to get defined.
Absolutely. So the new album's out, Inferno, which you got to be pretty, like you mentioned earlier, like instrumental albums don't usually get on Billboard charts, and you did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as shocked as you are. I mean, it's my 12th solo record, and it's the first album to chart on Billboard ever of my solo career, so I'm just amazingly happy. A couple of my solo albums charted in Japan, which is pretty cool too, but in America, my home country, the first solo album to debut on Billboard, it's a great thing. And I gotta think that it's, maybe it's because the music is what's on Inferno is relevant to what people maybe want to hear from me in particular. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything else that's on the chart, but I think I thought pretty seriously about what expectations there might be from, a guy who, like a lot of people, haven't heard of in 10 years or something in America. So I don't want people to look back nostalgically at my playing or my music. I just want the people who have been following me to be impressed, but I want the people who haven't followed me to go, oh my God, listen to this, So I took a lot of thought into doing that.
Now, are you going to be doing any other touring around the world before you come back to the U.S. later in the year for it?
I'm going to be doing some stuff in Japan and possibly Europe again, but the Europe may happen after the U.S. It may happen before. All the latest all the latest touring info will be on all of my social media and my MartyFriedman.com website, probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. So anybody interested in that, I would advise to go there.
Nice. And how about, you have the video for the title track, Inferno. Do you think nowadays video is even more important now than back in the day of when MTV actually played music videos with the internet and YouTube? Do you think it's more vital now to have it than back then?
I think it's equally as important because everybody is auditioning music on the internet before they buy it. So if you have a nice video, it's all the better. Being a rock musician, I like to listen to music rather than watch it. So it's not infinitely that much more important to me as a fan, but it is very important to a big majority of fans out there. So I think it's still extremely important.
Yeah, I'm for some reason I'm just more and more hooked onto videos, it seems, nowadays, and I've really discovered a lot more music that way over the last couple of years. And although it does crack me up, and I bring this story up a lot, like when I hear newer bands, if I go see a newer band or whatever, or I'm interviewing a newer band, and they're like, well, yeah, we just released our new single on YouTube, and it like takes me back a second. Like, it's just weird to hear that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, plus, you call anything a single now, a single, and then people call things covers, they call it, all the terminology has changed, but it's all good, it's all a healthier for the music. The music is getting spread to more people, and I'm all for that.
Nice.
Hey, listen, man, I kind of got to go. The next one is at this actually point. So
okay.
Maybe if you have one last question, I hate to cut you off, but I'm like.
You know what? I'll ask you one last question. I was going to run through a bunch of names of guitarists, but Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, Randy Rhoads, man, he's fantastic. I just did an event to tribute to him in Los Angeles. I think it was in January. Man, I think he's such a charismatic person and guitarist, an influential person in the world of rock and guitar, and what a great guy.
Nice. And if you can just cut a quick ID for me, and I'll let you roll. Marty
Sure.
Friedman, you're listening to Totally Driven Radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Marty Friedman. You're listening to Totally Driven Radio. It's an inferno up in here.
Nice. Marty, thanks so much. Good luck with everything, and hope to see you in the States sometime soon.
Thank you very much. Hope you see you this winter.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Take care, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody, there he goes. Marty Friedman promoting the new album. That's the one thing with sometimes you get, that's it, like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They schedule these interviews and I didn't know if we were getting 20 minutes or more, and I guess we got the 20 minutes. But, hey, cool dude, calling in from Japan. That's pretty awesome. Check him out, martyfriedman.com. The new album is out, Inferno. And actually, I got the song queued up if you want to hear it. This dude just wails. Like, I've known about him for years, and you've known about him from the Megadeth years, and just an incredible guitar player.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm interested to hear the track you got listed up from Inferno.
I was just getting ready to hit him up with the Megadeth stuff, too.
Yeah, well, when I was a junior in high school, Rust in Peace came out, and then they followed that up with Countdown to Extinction, and those two albums back to back just blew me away. And I go back to Megadeth before he joined the band, Peace Sells, but Who's Buying, and I'll put those two albums against anything else in their catalog.
I'll tell you what, absolutely.
18, Symphony of Destruction, Sweating Bullets, Countdown to Extinction. As you can tell, I'm a big Megadeth fan. So.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, those two, what was it? Peace Sells and So Far So Good, So What? I used to love those albums. And two of my favorite guitar riffs are off them albums. The guitar riff in Wake Up Dead and one of the greatest songs ever, In My Darkest Hour.
Oh, yeah. And the weird thing is in the 80s, especially in the mid-80s, you had these two band divorces, and they both involved Daves. You had the Van Halen one where it was Eddie Wright or was Dave Wright, and then you had Metallica. Was Metallica right or was Dave Mustaine right?
Something about the name Dave.
Yeah, it always goes back to Dave.
It's all Dave's fault. That's funny. All right, well, let's play Marty's tune. Let's give him a whirl. Here you go, everybody. Marty Friedman, Inferno.